guys, how's it going? I've been thinking about talking about something that I've experienced in my life and something that I think is very incredibly special. And I wanted to see if anybody else has experienced this as well and kind of what your situation was, your circumstances, and really just have a conversation about what happened to you, how it made you feel, and if it really happened, if it really did occur. So we're gonna go way back to almost the beginning of me and Sebastian's relationship. And I personally was having a lot of struggles. I didn't know really what I wanted out of life and where I was going. I just kind of felt really lost, and in all of that going on and feeling lost, we didn't have jobs and life was just really hard at the time. I had finally was able to get a job interview and actually get the job. There were some issues with the job though that I was working, so I was trying to work at Family Dollar at the time. This was back 2012, so I'm assuming that things are completely different, and this was back in Idaho as well, so it may have just been the store and how things were. But I ended up having an issue where I had the interview. They wanted to go ahead and hire me, but they needed me to do a drug test, and they did in-house drug testing. And if you've never experienced that, basically there's this kit and it's a little cup and it has a little sticker on the side that when you pee into the cup, you have to let it sit for a certain amount of time, and then depending on the color that it changes, you either pass or you don't. And when I had done the urine test, it came back positive for methamphetamine. That's what they told me, that it was meth, but it was actually amphetamine. I tested positive for amphetamine. I had really bad allergies. I was allergic to cottonwood trees. I literally couldn't even walk outside. My face would just get so puffy and I'd end up sneezing, and it was really bad when me and my husband first got together. And he got to experience this with me and see really what happened for me and what happened to me. Anyway, and I had taken some allergy medication that morning so that I could actually go outside and go to this job interview. And I peed in the cup and it came back positive for amphetamine. And not knowing at the time that I could actually have them take the results and send them, have them basically verify the findings and the results that they were saying that was amphetamine, because those tests when they're in-house aren't actually that exact. They're not 100%. The only way that you know something is 100% if you have it lab tested. So now knowing that after the fact, I could have actually requested them to send the results and then it would have been fine. But I was really upset, and then they ended up letting it sit there for another 30 minutes, and then it finally was able to pass. And so they were gonna let me work there, but I was really upset because of that. And I was really upset because they didn't know what was going on, if we were gonna be okay financially. I was in a new relationship. I personally was struggling a lot. I was just so upset about everything. I just didn't know what to do or what was going on. So I ended up praying a lot at that time. I asked for a sign. I was if you could just kind of give me direction of where I'm supposed to go, what I'm supposed to do with my life. We had only been working the job at Family Dollar. We were going around and doing cosmetic resets for the stores in Idaho. On the second or the third day, we were at this specific store that was quite a ways away from home. We actually had to drive there. When I was there, I had this situation happen with one of the managers. They got really grumpy with me, and they're hey, stop standing around and talking. And I was I literally wasn't even talking. And so I was are you kidding me? I'm doing the work. Number one, I'm getting paid crap for this job. I'm not happy. It's a lot of work. We're not getting properly compensated. We weren't getting lunch breaks, because Idaho is a right to work state. So they legally can have you work up to 12 hours without a break. And they were doing that. We weren't getting 15-minute breaks. I wasn't getting lunch breaks. And on this particular day, I went almost 9 hours without any food. I don't think I got to eat until we got home. So we had to travel all the way back home as well. So that was like super upsetting, and it just was a really crappy situation. And at the time I was also having seizures. And so something that one of the specialists that I went to see told me that I needed to make sure that I had a very set schedule, that I ate and I drank enough water and I got enough sleep. I wasn't getting enough sleep at the time. I wasn't able to like have lunch breaks. I wasn't eating at all. So I was really freaked out and really upset that I was gonna have another seizure, and we couldn't figure out what was going on with that. So just like had a lot of stuff going on at the time. I ended up asking God, like, what do you want from me? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? I don't know where I'm supposed to go from here. Like, am I supposed to just work retail for the rest of my life? Like, it's not something I really feel passionate about. What am I supposed to do? You know, just give me a sign. Please just give me a sign. On the second day of working for Family Dollar, I had this lady come up to me. She came up to me, tapped me on the shoulder, and she like stopped and made sure to make eye contact with me. She like just took a breath and just like looked at me and told me that everything was gonna be okay. And that what I was supposed to be doing would happen eventually, and it would be okay. And she told me that I was enough, and that I was important. And then like at the end, she's, you know, told me again, she's like, it's gonna be okay. And I was like, okay, just very shocked by that. And she turned around, walked away, and I just kind of stood there because I was like, that's like one of the weirdest interactions I've ever had. But like the rest of the day, I just was like silent and quiet and just like working away. And then we went home that day. I think I decided I either like worked one more shift or that was the final shift that I worked, but I only worked there for like 2 or 3 days. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. After having that interaction with that lady, I was like, I think I just got talked to like by an angel. Like they came and told me that it's gonna be okay. And I remember having that conversation with my at the time boyfriend. I was like, I don't know, it just like speaks really true to my heart that that's what that interaction was. And I just couldn't believe it because I was like, I felt like I'm so inconsequential. I'm one person, I don't mean anything. And why me? And it just has always sat with me. And it's just like really cool to think about. Like I literally have goosebumps thinking about it because I don't know, it just made me feel okay. Like even though she literally had to say it 3 times to me, I like knew in my core, I knew in my center that that's what that was for. So long story short, I ended up leaving Family Dollar after working there for like 2 or 3 days. I ended up getting another job, and I ended up working at like a call center, but it was for PlayStation support. I was doing okay. Like call center jobs are pretty mindless, but this one that I was in, I was supposed to be doing customer support, but they also wanted us to get sales at the same time. And I am not a pushy person. I'm just not. And a lot of those people, like they're just calling in for support. Like they don't want to buy a sales protection plan on their PlayStation. They don't care. I had a split shift, so I'd go in at 10 a.m. and then I'd come home for like 3 hours for like a really long extended lunch break. And then I would go back to work 10 to 10. So I was there at almost open and they're at close. So that like really, really sucked. I didn't see my, at the time, boyfriend, and so like me and my husband just weren't like seeing each other. There was a lot of like home stuff going on. It just was very stressful. And once again, I ended up asking the question, I'm like, is this where I'm supposed to be? Like, why am I so unhappy in every job that I have? Like, why do I keep having problems? And it's like, there's that old saying of like, you know, if everywhere you go, there's issues, then it's probably you. And I just didn't feel like it was me. I just kept feeling like a lot of stuff just kept happening. I ended up praying again and, you know, just give me a sign, like, should I leave? Like, I'm just so unhappy. and I just don't want to be here anymore. But I like didn't want to jeopardize our family anymore because like we were pretty much taking care of like a huge portion of rent, and figured that if I would have left my job, it would just totally crush us. But I just like didn't want to work there anymore. I just was so depressed. And so I ended up praying. A couple days later, on one of the calls that I had, I talked to this guy from back east. I helped him with customer support. He's like, you know, I just have a feeling like I need to tell you something. And I'm like, okay, like this is like super weird. And he's like, I just want to tell you that you're better than this job, and I think you really need to hear this right now. Like, I don't know why, but I'm just getting the feeling that I need to tell you that. I like pretty much broke down on the phone call. The guy told me on the phone, he's like, you know what? Like, yeah, like you need, whatever you're thinking about doing, you just need to do it. You just do it. He's like, life's too short to wait. So you should just do whatever it is that you're thinking about doing, because it's the right thing to do. Well, I'm really scared because like, what if it causes a lot more problems? And he's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Your happiness means more. And he's like, I just got a feeling like you just need to do whatever it is. You just need to do it. And I was like, okay. If this guy like ever saw this video, that would be like really cool to reach out and let him know like, thank you for telling me that, because I really, really needed it at that moment. Like really, really bad. So the next day I went home and I told my husband, I'm like, I'm gonna leave because it's not right what they're having us do. And I can't do it anymore. Like, it literally is crushing my soul. I can't do this anymore. Like, I was crying, sitting in the parking lot waiting to go into work, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. We ended up putting everything together, getting our affairs in order, and I went in and I quit. And it was like maybe 6 or 7 months later that I found out that that call center actually got closed down. They had other issues going on and they got closed down. And I felt so vindicated because I knew what they were doing was wrong. And I'm sure they had a lot of other issues too. Like usually with call centers, there was always issues of like payments and like you didn't get paid, you didn't get your check on time and that sort of stuff. So I just like, I don't know. I felt like all of those times were worth it. And I know that they probably weren't like the smartest moves at the time. You know, like we probably would have been better off if I would have kept those jobs. But having those interactions with those special people and like asking for an answer and then receiving them, it just makes me feel like ask and you shall receive. Like if you're ever having a bad day or having a hard time and you're spiritual or religious or anything, send up a quick prayer, you know, send some good vibes out there. And you'll be surprised by what you get back. Because I didn't think I would ever get an answer. I didn't think that I was worth it. But, like, I guess I am. And that's kind of cool. So let me know down below if you guys have had any interactions like this, and let me know what happened for you. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up for me. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. That way you can be part of the Panda family, because we're pretty cool over here. And then that way you'll be notified of new videos that I upload if you do like my videos. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Remember, I love every single one of you. I hope that you're having a great day, and I'll see you in my next video.